Sutro from paintthere.com here at my home studio on beautiful Maui, Hawaii. Today I'm in the studio, but I wanted to share with you what I take when I go painting out in the field, whether I'm in my yard or backpacking or at the beach or traveling, wherever I am. I have certain things that I bring with me that just help the art happen in the moment. And so the first thing that people often ask me about is this folder that I have here. Right now I have all sorts of things clipped to it. I have another one right here, a little bit larger. I make these folders at different sizes so that they fit in the backpack, the bag, whatever it is that I'm bringing. These folders here, they're made out of mat board, like what is used in frame shops. And the frame shop where I always take my art to get framed, a lot of times they have scraps, pieces that are not getting used. And frame shops oftentimes either sell these off really inexpensively or even just give them away. And so I have two pieces of mat board here that I have taped together with packing tape, and there's a line of packing tape on the inside, and so I have a folder here. But right now I have all these things clipped to it, so before I get into it, I'll show you what I have. Well, of course, here I have the painting I created just yesterday, and this is exactly how I clip it on when I am painting. And so these binder clips, I like having 5 of them because I paint in a lot of places that are windy. And so I've got my artwork held down. If it was larger, I could put one on the other corner. I've got my paper towel from blowing away, and I have my palette on there too. And so this I can hold with one hand and I can paint with the other. And so even if I am in 40-mile-an-hour gusts, I'm gonna be okay. So maybe my hair will blow into my face, but that's normally tied back. And so that is one reason why this art folder is such a great tool. The other reason is that when I finish the painting and I fold up my palette and I take the clips off and the painting has dried, I can put it right in here, and I have all my other papers ready to go too. So maybe I'm like, oh, I want to do one more, but I want it to be just a little small quick one, or I want it to be a large, more squarish one, or maybe I want to do an accordion book here. Look at all these different types that I have in here. That's why I don't stretch my paper on here with masking tape or anything, because I want to be able to choose the right composition for what I see wherever I go, what fits for that moment. And so I have all of that there, and if I'm hiking back to the car, it all clips back together and it's all safe, or I can pull out another piece, whatever makes sense. So that is how I use this. There's one other thing you might have noticed here, this little bag here. And so this wonderful little bag, this one's actually made locally by this company, Oniloa, and they're made for bikinis. They are waterproof on the inside. You see, this one's gotten a lot of use as a paint supply bag, but I love it because nothing leaks out if something does happen, but my art toolkit palette fits in there. If I bring my other palette, which I've had since I was about 15 years old, I can fit that in there as well. Though these days I've been mostly bringing this lovely little one here that fits so well. And then I have my brushes and my ink. Ooh, that's supposed to clip on like that. There we go. All of that in there. The paper towel can get stuffed in there. If I need another clip, that just in case. And so, what are these brushes here? These are Pentel Aquash brushes, size large. So they have a wonderful tip to them. They are very nice rounds, and what I love about them most is they are full of water. So here we go. The blue tape is just because I use them in classes sometimes, and that's how I know which ones are mine at the end of the day. And so what I love about these more than anything else is that the water is inside. And so if I want to use a color, all I have to do is squeeze, and there's more water there. And then if I want to clean my brush, squeeze and wipe and all clean. I can go for another color and see how I squeeze and it got more liquid there. I can drop it in where it's wet. All those possibilities are right there within the brush. So these are large, and you should always use the largest brush that you can for the circumstances. And so these ones are mostly the largest that Pentel makes. They do make a flat that I like sometimes. And so there's the flat. And as far as paper goes, this is the Arches cold press. A lot of times I actually work on the hot press, and I show how those are different mostly with how I do my ink lines. That's actually how I start my pieces. And so these are Pentel ink brush pens. And so again, it is ink with a brush in a pen. The ink comes from this little canister right there, which you just buy more of them. I always have another one in my bag ready to go. And this is how I capture those gestures in the moment before I put color down. And so I can have a lot of control, I can have a lot of expression, and when I go on the cold press, it's a lot more textured. And sometimes that's just what I want, and sometimes it's not. I want the smoothness, so I stay with the hot press, and other times I want the texture of the cold press, but I don't want the ink pen. So just for a feel of how these are different with the paint, there is some of that wonderful color, that quinacridone rose on the hot press there, more of my cobalt blue there, letting them blend together. So, and mostly the paint does not bleed, but if you're in a high humidity environment like I am, it might take just a moment for that black ink to dry. Another one I have here, this is also made by Pentel. It's a little bit more of a gray, different style tip. Choosing the art supplies that you're going to use is all about what facilitates your creativity in the moment. And what I love to share is using art as a way to connect to nature, to connect to your surroundings, to be grounded in a place. And so the art supplies that I'm going to recommend for these ways of making art are ways to be able to paint wherever you are. And you might find your own ways, your own tools, your own strategies and materials that fit you. But I also hope that you try out some of these and that I see you out there painting. Okay, have a beautiful day. Go find that creative adventure. See you next time.